have reclaimed one of them, but 3 remain lost. Do they not? And with the lab out of commission, the whole plan is in jeopardy. Our situation is grave indeed. How many more people, how much more money do you expect us to throw at this project of yours?
Even now, we teeter on the brink of the astral plane. One functional legatus remains. One. We played the hand you dealt us, and now nothing remains but to face extinction.
We placed our faith in a false savior, and now all mankind is doomed. Your foolishness has damned us all.
Gentlemen, please. I assure you all is not yet lost.
All is not. You suggest that one person can hold off an infinite wellspring of horrors?
No. We have another option.
What?
We can ascend. We can become as gods.
What was that all about? So ominous. Hello everyone, Chobra here, and welcome to my playthrough of Astral Chain. Before we get started today, I have an announcement and a bit of an explanation to make. So I've mentioned that this series was being used as a learning process for me, as it's the first time I've ever made any type of playthrough content, whether it's a let's play or a walkthrough or anything similar. Well, we've been tinkering a little bit here and there, and you'll notice that if you've watched it from the beginning, but the conclusion's been that it's not really working out, and I've identified a few reasons. First of all, I was recording more gameplay this week and realized that there's still a heavy chunk of the game left from where I am in my recordings, and my uploads are even further behind. With this type of delay, it's just not fair to those of you who are eager to find out how the game unfolds, whether you focus on the story or the gameplay. So being timely was a concern, and while that alone could be remedied with quicker and more frequent uploads, there's a second concern, which is that I play RPGs in a really slow manner. Whether it's online or single player, I am the type of player that checks my menus all the time, tweaks controls non-stop, checks ability and skill trees every chance I get, and reviews those trees all the way down to make sure I'm not wasting any points. In a format where gameplay is pre-recorded, this just ends up being a bore and takes up too much of my content real estate. Which brings me to my last point. If I was streaming this, it'd be a different story, as you'd be experiencing the game with me in the way I experience games. But with all of this being pre-recorded, that just isn't the case. So I've decided to branch out into 2 different formats. The first one will be for games that I played through entirely on stream, and the stream VODs will just be cut and uploaded in pieces to my channel here. And I'll be doing this with games like Link's Awakening, which comes out tomorrow on Nintendo Switch. As for games like Astral Chain, I will be pre-recording gameplay and then editing it pretty heavily to boil it down to its core bits. The very core aspects of the game will be kept in full, such as the combat in Astral Chain, but the supporting aspects will be edited in a way where you get the idea, but we're not slogging through every side quest where I open the map every 5 steps. There's still going to be a lot more to experiment with and adapt, but hopefully this is a step in the right direction, so we're somewhat rebooting this series partway through the game. And with that, welcome to the new Chobra Plays Astral Chain.
Sky turns west, swallowing up each and every being in this town. Hopes, hearts, everything is falling down.
Far away in the skyline, crowd of apparitions crawling around. It's calling, growing louder.
Are we the future of this burning hell? It's a fight for a paradise, fight for our lives. So keep holding on until we break the sound. Hear yourself, reach for the light in darkness and despair. If there comes
speaking of spending too much time in menus, it is only fitting that we start off this episode in the menus. And trust me, this is super cut down. Well, we're getting ready for our next mission, which basically we found whoever it was that exploded the ARI Institute, which is where we research legions, and they've been spotted downtown. So we have to head out. But before we head out, we're going to make sure we upgrade everything we can. You just saw us collect a couple of those orders, which are the challenges of this game. So you get cosmetic upgrades. Sometimes you get a couple items, maybe some upgrade points. And now we're looking at the skill trees for the legions. This is the first time we're really diving deep into it. We've unlocked a couple things for our sword legion before, but basically the skill trees offer a lot of different options. Sometimes they give you new abilities that you can then slot into each legion separately, or you can get stat upgrades, or you can get new sync attacks like we're doing for the arrow legion. There's a lot of different options, so we'll just go ahead and get a couple extra upgrades for our Arrow Legion, which is our most recent addition to the arsenal of legions, and then I guess another extra one for our Sword Legion so he doesn't feel left out, and then we're all set and ready to go. And it looks like we get to ride our motorcycle out to this mission. So as we watch this cutscene, you can't imagine how excited I was, because all I could think in my head was Tron, and what I was expecting was something like this. But no, instead, we get this. That earlier clip is actually from the beginning of the game, so it's not unreasonable for me to have expected it, but I guess that's the only motorcycle rail sequence we get. So we just get to load in with a quick cinematic, and here we are, Harmony Square, the downtown of the Ark, which is the artificial city we live in.
You've been assigned to ask around the skywalk over the central intersection. Follow your map there.
Well, it wouldn't be me playing the game if we followed our map there instantly, so first of all, we're going to talk to Carlos, who, I skipped the dialogue a little bit, but basically, he has a big case going on.
I am tailing a man who I assure you is engaged in heinous anti-union activity.
Heinous activity?
I followed him here.
Oh
but
no.
I seem to have lost sight of him.
Union is the overseeing government, which we don't know much about, but they
will?
rule over the world of
what
Astral Chain,
luck.
basically.
Together we'll find him in no time. The man I
Okay,
am
so we get a couple
following is
clues.
wearing an orange jacket.
Orange jacket
And a black hat.
and a black hat.
Sure of it.
Okay, not too much to go off of,
He
but
was
it's
on
something.
foot. And what's more, I saw him fall and hurt his leg. He cannot have gone far.
Okay,
I'll continue looking over there if you'll be so kind as to search this area for a man with that description.
alright. Now that we have the hints, let's start looking for the perp. First of all, we find a fearful man behind a dumpster.
Nothing to worry about here.
Kinda fishy.
Now, I'm afraid I'm a bit engaged at the moment, so...
Okay, probably wrong person.
My wife sent you, didn't she? Well, tell her adultery is not a prosecutable offense.
Too much information, but okay, moving on.
Officer, I love your shoes.
Okay, well, this
Where
lady
did you get
is
them?
not a man who seems to have hurt his leg.
Oh,
She is just looking for new
okay,
shoes.
Well, while you're here, what do you think about these shoes? I pulled some overtime this month. Should I treat myself?
You deserve it. Do what you gotta do. And then our third suspect is a suspicious man.
What are you looking at?
Not giving us much to work off of, so we're gonna move on. Well, that's it for the area, but he did say the guy hurt his leg, so let's go back on that one.
Talk about adding insult to injury.
Waiting for a friend, really? With a hurt leg behind or in front of a van?
All right.
Your number is up. Come along quietly, or else I shall.
Carlos is so
Yeah,
grandiose
I
in
know.
everything
I told
he
your friend here
does.
already. You got me, all right? You know what, though? I'm glad you guys caught me. Lucky even. The way things are heading, I'm a dead man out on my own. They don't take too kindly to failure.
They? Who are they? Who pulls your strings? Talk!
I've said too much already. So you gonna take me to jail or what?
Yes, but...
Look.
Oh, you know it's bad when they would rather go to jail.
No way. I'm not saying one more word. For all I know, they're already on their way. You guys should watch your backs too.
What does that all lead to?
That's one more ne'er-do-well off the streets. I could not have done it without you. You have my utmost gratitude. But
Well, I'm glad, Carlos.
now I can't stop one... What? Yes, it would appear that the card's destroyed, rather. It is settled then.
Oh
I
no.
must go.
I actually had forgotten
With
that
my
that's how
foot
this
now,
mission
if you
ends,
will-
or the side quest ends. Well, that's pretty brutal. Well, anyway, we're going to continue on touring the street, and we're going to give people some Legion hugs, because they're sick from red shifting, which is what happens when they get hit by the virus of this other world. So you get a Legion hug, and you get a Legion hug. And this process, called blue shifting, rightfully so, brings them back. Then we run into Skeptical Woman, who is a little concerned about a haunted dumpster. There's so much to take care of in the city. The city needs a lot of help. Well, so she can't use the dumpster near her house, so if we're ever going to find a haunted dumpster, it's probably in a back alley like this. So we'll just clean up the red matter a little bit, look around. There are definitely dumpsters back there. And after some digging, there we go, a gate. Of course it's Chimera. There aren't actual ghosts. Time to do some ghost hunting. So these are new enemies that we haven't seen before, and they end up becoming real annoying. They seem pretty easy right now, but as we progress through the game, they are one of my most hated enemies. And here's why. So they show up with a friend, the guy with the shield, and they end up pairing together, and you have to sever the connection, otherwise you can't attack either of them. The problem here being, and I've talked about this before in the controls, is that you have to basically pause your movement to use that ability from the Sword Legion to sever that, but then you can't move, so you have to make sure you're positioned correctly before you turn your camera to sever that line. So it's a little bit of a nuisance, especially in the heat of battle in a game like Astral Chain, where it's all about speed and combos. But we eventually get used to it. Oh, that was a nice combo with the Arrow Legion. Keep in mind that these are still really basic, right? We don't have much unlocked. But we've taken care of the ghosts. I've solved the problem. No more haunted dumpster. You may continue throwing out your trash wherever you desire. And then we start running through the rest of the town to figure out what else there is to do. Clean up some red matter, pick up some trash, and some more trash, and more trash, and more empty cans. There's empty cans everywhere. The city's got to stop littering. And we stop by to make sure we stop a bomb threat. Thankfully, it turns out to be a prank. And then we continue picking up more trash, and more empty cans, and some more. And we run into some people who could use a Legion massage, so we make them feel better. And we do our actual job of investigating the crime scene. Probably should do that at some point. We get some information about the suspicious lady. Then we throw away our hard-earned trash. It's like playing slots with a trash can. I don't really know what this does. We're doing it because we gotta keep the streets cleaned. Then we ask more people about what's been going on. We run into some thugs, so we fight them. And then I call my Legion, because I can't actually beat them on my own, because I suck. And then they're going to give us some more information. Right after, we get a quick ice cream break to replenish our energy. Then we continue cleaning up the streets of empty cans and red matter. So much cleaning. Throw it away again. Get some points, I guess. And then we get caught jaywalking, apparently, and that takes away all of those reputation points we got by throwing away the trash. Honestly, this city, not thankful enough. Then we find a lady who's lost her cat. And so then we move into the most intense part of this mission, which is to capture this cat. And gotcha. Back to your owner you go. They tell us about strange tentacles. Someone else tells us about grand crystals. The story starts to get pretty weird. But no time to think about it because we have a man who has lost his way around this giant city. So we got to make sure he can go where he needs to go. He shows us a picture, and it's the staircase going down from the overpass here, or somewhere. There's so many staircases. So we start looking around for where he has to meet his friend. Keep in mind that we actually have a mission to take care of as well, but we gotta make sure that everyone finds their way around and gets home safely, especially at times like these. So the easily lost man, looking for his way around. That one's a Subway, and I also just realized that it's actually just called Subway, but the logo's different. And I can't remember where that burger joint was. Oh.
Come in.
Look who it is.
Visual confirmation of the suspect at the Central Harmony Square intersection.
Jena Anderson, hold her right there. You're under arrest for the attack on the ARI.
Hey, that's
You heard
our
that,
suspect.
Right? They found Jena. Get over there. Hurry.
Okay, I just gotta take this man to where he needs to go. Never mind. He's suddenly regained his memory, so we can continue chasing Jena Anderson. No, or maybe not.
You saw that too, didn't you? Hang on. I'm running this by the commander.
This is where the story really starts to pick up. As if you haven't noticed. So we're waiting for Olive to tell us what to do, because the rest of our colleagues are just confused. But you know what? We're just gonna take matters into our own hands, because why else would we have a legion, right? You can't stop me. Here we go. And so we willingly jump into the astral plane, which is where all of our squad mates have lost their legions before, and also our dad decided to stay behind to make sure we got away.
But since you already dove in, you may as well try.
Olive's
to
not
find
happy.
Jena. I can't get a hold of her signal. Stay on alert. This might be a trap.
Okay, so more red matter to clean up here. There's so much cleanup to do everywhere in this world. Honestly. And we're gonna start noticing these new cubes or blocks that float around. So the astral plane is where the platforming comes into play. And now we're starting to realize that this game is really a combination of like 5 different genres. So we just gotta hit that. We did this in training. So yep, nope. Yep, there you go. Or not. Since our Sword Legion doesn't have long enough arms, we will just shoot it and open the door. And a small little Chimera jumps in, but it's just one. Then we find more cubes, and then we shoot them one by one, activate the elevator, and we move on. Of course, always time for a quick pit stop. I also love that the vending machines cough when they're in the astral plane. It's kind of weird that they're there in the first place, but we never questioned that in the game. Time to play a little tower defense as well, as we have to analyze this pillar. And you'll notice that the combat starts to become a little more frequent. Obviously, you know, we've cut together the video just a tad bit, but way more than it was in the beginning of the game, and it only grows from here. So that's good news for all of you guys who are looking for combat and combos. But another elevator activated, and more minions show up. It's one of those annoying guys, but they're alone this time, so thankfully, quick and easy work. Of course, gotta become overdramatic now and then for a game like this. And then we cut some blocks, open up the way, only to find more cubes. So we hit the cubes one by one, to activate more elevators. And then we run into this area that's kind of like this weird Tetris block puzzle elevator shaft thing. And it starts to become really disorienting because they're all glowing really red. But there's some supply drops over there, and then there's a cube we have to hit as well. And I'm pretty sure we've seen this before in another game. What was it? Oh, right. Catherine. I never did play Catherine. That game just seems super weird in all sorts of aspects. I hear the gameplay is good, though. Well, we open up the path as we spot Jena at the end of the bridge. So it looks like we're near the end of the mission. Or not. Jena just creates gates all the time. I don't know how we're supposed to beat that. Well, here we go. The music's changed. The environment's changed. This can only mean one thing. Boss fight time. Enjoy the battle.
Well, I lost her. She's not showing up in there or on the Ark. You better come on back.
Alright, that battle was a little rough. It was our first real test to juggle legions and fight harder enemies, and then these were airborne as well. Eventually I get used to comboing mid-air and jumping back and forth, but it takes a couple missions to get there. For now, we return to the Ark. We couldn't catch Jena, but we kept the streets clean, so that's what matters. We did get caught jaywalking though, but no ticket, so hopefully I get to keep my job.
Calling all officers at Harmony Square. Regroup at the designated area. Repeat, all officers regroup at the designated area. I'm sending you coordinates now. How on earth did Jena do that? I've never seen anyone open a gate and go through like that, let alone come back on their own. Well, we'll worry about that later. Head on over to the rendezvous point.
Oh, jeez. You made it. You've got to be more careful. We're in a lot of trouble if anything happens to you.
Hey, come on now. I know we all want to catch Jena as soon as possible. She caught us off guard before, but we won't let it happen again. She can't get away from all of us.
Alicia, you... Never mind. Okay, we've got to figure out our next move. Akira, you put together what we know.
Copy that. We know we're dealing with Jena Anderson, but we don't know where she went. Let's see if we can figure it out.
And of course, quiz time returns in Astral Chain. Piece together the puzzle, and you may solve the crime. Or something like that. I think this sequence I actually get one wrong. And I still don't know what that does. Maybe I didn't get an S+, I don't remember.
Did anyone tell you about any strange phenomenon, and where they might have seen it happen?
It's also, some of it's not fair, because you kind of jump ahead.
Yeah, Ark Mall. A lot of people mentioned Ark Mall to me too.
I think it actually happens when you collect too much data. Right, so they've seen all sorts of things here, right? Ghostly armor, strange tentacles, and the woman in white. And so in my head, I'm like, which one is this? And I say ghostly armor, and they're like, nope, tentacles.
Did you hear?
But again, I don't think it really negatively impacts your gameplay, so I'll cut him some slack.
That's about all we know for now. Looks like our best bet for finding Jena is to check out Ark Mall. Let me know when you're ready to go.
Oh, I did get a lower rank. So I guess it impacts that. If you don't get a perfect score, it probably takes away a couple points. I probably got points deducted somewhere else as well. I don't really know.
All right, we're taking the search to Ark Mall. It sounds like we can expect some pretty weird stuff. Ready to go?
And that's going to be it for this episode. When we return in the next episode of Chobra Plays Astral Chain, we head into Ark Mall to combat these strange tentacles and figure out what Jena Anderson's been up to. In the meantime, let me know how you like the new format down in the comments below. Of course, feel free to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more gaming with Chobra.